Hey guys, how are you doing? I've just logged in. I'm currently in Taiwan, so sitting out of my hotel room to sit and do a few things. But I wanted to share with you exactly what we will be covering in Prospecting 2020, and that was the whole purpose of doing this live video. So just give me a second. Hey Betty, hey Ryan, how are you doing? All right, in Prospecting 2020, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the questions that I've been getting from everybody is, Sanjay, we get the presentation. We've kind of figured out how to handle objections as well, but we're still not being able to meet up with people. So I want to share with you some strategies that I will be using that I currently also continue to use with each of my clients. Now, wow, the latest update, we have already sold 50% of the tickets. So thank you very much for that support, guys. I do look forward to seeing you at Prospecting 2020. Hi, Harris. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Good evening. Hey, guys. Thanks for signing in. Now, there are a few things that I do want to update you guys on. Number one is 2020 has started, right? If you haven't figured out your strategy by now, you're going to get into a lot of trouble because you will start very slow. Q1 has to be a very strong quarter, because if your start is not strong, then as you go into Q2 and you go into Q3, you start getting a lot of difficulties in terms of closing, underwriting, and then the pressure builds up as you go on and on. So Q1 needs to be a very strong quarter, and you need to have a strategy for Q1. Q1 doesn't just happen overnight. There are a few things that you do need to meet up, continue to do. For example, your existing client base, right? If you haven't met up with your existing client base, just saying hi to them is always very beneficial. One of the mistakes that we make is we forget to even just stay in touch with our clients, and we expect that every meeting that we have with them is towards a closing or towards a product presentation or towards a concept presentation as well. It doesn't have to be. Some of your meetings will be specifically for prospecting. So there are certain meetings that you do which are specifically to help you get more and more prospects. Now, these meetings that you have would be with either existing clients, friends, people you know of, getting the right amount of recommendations, telling them what you do. So you need to position yourself in a way that people understand what you do. If they don't understand what you do, there's a problem. Cool. Thanks for purchasing the tickets. I'm glad you did, because we are almost sold out on KL. So yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you there, Cool. Now, Ryan, thanks for logging in. Phil, I'm glad you're back in here. The whole purpose of doing Prospecting 2020 was to get a clear picture of what should be your strategy of meeting people. You get cold leads. Now, I do know a lot of people do cold calling. Is it bad? Well, I wouldn't say cold calling is bad. It is definitely something that you should get an experience with, but there's only so long that you can keep doing with cold calling, and it does get frustrating after a period of time. So the question is, do you keep doing cold calling, and what are your expectations of your cold call? So when you're doing cold calling, what are the expectations that you build out of that? Some of the other strategies that people use is they send out WhatsApp messages. Does that work? Some people do social media marketing. Does that work? So I'm going to be covering each aspect of prospecting. I don't agree a lot with social media marketing for a very simple reason. a lot of your clients who are watching your social media videos, it's very good from an educational perspective, but it doesn't really build your credibility. So think about in terms of how you want to position yourself. A doctor that's giving free advice is fair, but when you start trying to market services online, does it come out as desperate? So you have to be very careful. It's a very fine line between coming out as informative or coming out as desperate. So please learn to understand that difference. When I come down to prospecting 2020, if you do have questions, leave them in the comments here, because these are the questions that I would refer to make sure that the content is exactly what you want. Guys, I'm a practitioner. I'm not a trainer. I don't do training programs. I'm actually just sharing with you what I do. And I can give you an opinion on what I do and what I feel works, what doesn't work. I've got mentees pretty much all over the world today. And all these mentees that I work with all over the world, they have different strategies. So what they look for is they look for an opinion. They want me to tell them, is there a better way to do something like that? We as a community have to share with each other, because if we don't share with each other what our strategies are, we will not grow as a community. And that was the whole purpose right in the beginning of setting up the Sanjay Mentoring family, right? It was to be able to share ideas, share thoughts, be able to understand what is the next level that you can do to get what your strategies are. So, okay, few questions. How to get recommendations from a prospect becomes a client as he's interested on that plan, but he said he's scared to give his people as he knows later that they will scold him. Let me ask you a more simpler question. Let's say I ask you for a restaurant. Which is your favorite restaurant? And you give me a name. And if the food is not nice, do you think I would scold you? Probably not. It could just be a bad day. So it's about asking recommendations the right way. Now, the recommendation strategy that we have is quite simple. Step number one is you need to know what are the type of clients you want to work with. So in Prospecting 2020, one of the key questions that we will be answering is what are the type of clients you want to work with? And the second most important question is how would you like to be introduced? So what should people say about you? So you need to have, I wouldn't say the word script, but you need to have a strategy that you want in terms of how you want to be introduced. What should people say about you? And it's very important that you have that very clear in your head, because if it's not clear in your head, you won't be able to tell it to other people. So I'm looking forward to 2020 prospecting. For the guys who have just logged in, welcome to this live chat. The whole purpose of this was to get an opinion on what questions you have. Pradeep, I am coming to India, so we are definitely doing a session in India. Hi Kavita, you've asked a very interesting question. Do I learn how to do cold calling in the most efficient way? The answer is no. I am not talking about cold calling. I'm talking about what you should do. Cold calling is a very good way to practice. So I wouldn't use that as my core prospecting strategy. By the way, you can't be having prospecting coming only through one way. You can't be just doing cold calls. You can't be just meeting your friends. You will run dry. So you need to have a steady flow of prospects coming to you. And there's a strategy that I use for that, where you have recommendations, where you have affiliations, where you are networking, where you are doing road shows by sometimes. You're even hosting seminars. So there are a few strategies that I want to talk about. It's not about getting a script and then just following the script. It's about building your own strategy. So what are you going to say when you meet with some of these clients? A lot of people ask me, Sanjay, why are you so open at sharing all your ideas online? The reason why I share them online is, number one, I want to share this with our community. And if I have clients watching this video, I want them to understand that we as a profession work very hard to ensure their families, ensure their lives, protect their income. And as an advisor, we need to be very open about our intentions and actions. So you have to make your intentions very clear. What is the purpose of what you're doing and why do you do what you do? If you don't have that clear, we have a problem. So leave me comments, leave me questions that you have in terms of your prospects, in terms of the prospects that you want assistance with. So if you have cases that you've stuck with and you want an opinion, I will definitely give you an opinion. I will be doing this session in primarily a few countries. So we will definitely be doing this in Singapore. We're doing it in Malaysia, Manila, and we're doing it in 3 places in India: Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Indore. So I do look forward to seeing all of you there. Again, if you have not registered for yourself, we have sold out more than 50% of our tickets already. Ravi, you have asked a question, क्या मैं हिंदी में बात करूँगा? तो बिल्कुल कर सकता हूँ. जिनको हिंदी में सेशन चाहिए वो किसी भी सेशन में आ सकते हैं. I will always be doing dual language wherever I can. I do know a little bit of Malay, so I will be speaking a little bit of Malay when I can. I don't know Chinese yet. I'm still learning. I'm currently in Taiwan, and if you are in Taiwan, just come over and say hello. I will be here for the next few days. Again, like I said, the whole purpose of doing Prospecting 2020 was to give each one of you an idea on what are the different strategies that other people use, and what are the pros and cons of each strategy, and what are the strategies that I use for prospecting. Because if you follow my strategy, I get on an average anywhere between 600 to 1,000 leads a year. Now, out of those 600 and 1,000 leads, I physically cannot meet all of them. So I do end up losing quite a few of those clients, or I would say prospects. But it's no regrets, because there's only so much that a person can do. So that's the strategy I want to share with you on how I've built a consistent stream of 600 to 1,000 clients that come to work with us. What is the offering that I do? It's usually never about the product. Guys, if you're product centric, you're already going to start losing clients. So it's not about the product. It's about what you provide them when they actually meet up with you. So there are a few things that we will talk about. Now, hey Aaron, I'm looking forward to seeing you for sure. I'm glad you're bringing your friends along. That's more important, because like I said, it's not just about you. It's about working together with our community. If you are an agency leader, bring your agency along. We don't discuss products. Guys, number one, we don't discuss companies. We don't discuss products. We discuss strategy, because products will change. Companies' reputations will go up and down. You will have some bad news. You will have some good news. Your product today will be a good product. Tomorrow you might have not a very competitive product. So product is not the focus of our session. Every session that I've done is always focused on strategy, because if your strategy is not clear, your product and your company doesn't really work. Your strategy is clear, we will figure out how to reposition the company, reposition a product, because products are going to change. So there's one guarantee I give you. As we move forward, our products will only become more and more complicated. It's our job as financial advisors to simplify products for our clients. And if you're not doing that, we are going to have a problem. All right. Aaron, I do have some feedback for you when it comes to making appointments using WhatsApp. I'm not very comfortable with the word texting. Texting is a tool to communicate information. But if you really want to build a relationship, you want to bond with your clients, learn to make it a lot more personal. Sending a text message doesn't cut that for many clients. Some clients might be comfortable with that, but that number is still very few. If you really want to be working with high net worth clients, you want to be working with clients who are very serious about their financials, try to avoid texting. Start picking up the phone, making a call, sending a voice note. You see, a voice note is a lot more personal than a WhatsApp message. The other thing is, you don't get an instant reaction. So even though it's considered instant messaging, if a client doesn't respond to you, you assume that is decline, when it could actually just mean that he's busy right now or she's busy right now and can't reply to you. So picking up the phone gives you an instant feedback, but sending a WhatsApp message delays your feedback. And that feedback is very important for you to know, is your time appreciated? Is that meeting going to be appreciated? Is that appointment going to be appreciated? So it's very important you get that very clear. All right. I'm glad that you have liked the 28,000 presentation and you're continuing to use it. 28,000 as a presentation is the best conversation to have with any person you meet, for a very simple reason. It shows them reality of life. If your presentations are real, right, and you are providing real life case studies to your clients, they will appreciate you a lot more than what we call hypothetical case studies. 28,000 is a real presentation. 28,000 as a presentation allows you to open a lot of conversations going forward. So I'm glad you guys are using it. If you are not and you're not aware about it, just go to YouTube. I have already uploaded the 28,000 presentation, so you can already access that. I'm just going through all the comments to make sure that I don't miss anything. Hey Jim, if your clients are giving you a fake reason, it only means that they are not interested in your services. You need to learn to move on. Guys, one of the biggest mistakes that we make, right, is when a prospect declines us, we take it personally and we spend almost a week trying to get over it. We spoil our mood. We kind of start sitting and sulking in the corner. We keep thinking, am I in the wrong industry? You will have good days and you will have bad days, including me. I have good days and I have horrible days, not just bad days. I have horrible days. I mean, horrible days where I've worked so hard and underwriter has not even issued my policy. I worked so hard to get an appointment. When I get to the appointment, there was an emergency and the client cancelled on me. I work so hard to get an appointment. I get there and the client is not there. He ends up sending one of his representatives and says, okay, the client can't come because he's busy with a meeting. And I have had horrible days, guys. And every time I've had a horrible day, I come back and the only thought that goes through my head is, do I give up? Do I keep trying? And if I keep trying, what should be my conditions, right? If you give up on a client, it's okay. It doesn't matter. The advantage in our business is the more a client delays, guys, I want to get this very clear to you. The more a client delays their purchasing of an insurance product, the premium will only increase. Your revenue only increases with time. It doesn't reduce. So if your client is not spending time with you today, they buy from you after 5 years. If they don't buy from you, they buy from someone else. Don't worry. Our profession actually makes more money. Once you agree that you're working for the profession, you're not just working for yourself, it will change the way you do your prospecting. This is such an important aspect of prospecting, which a lot of people forget. So if you have just logged in, guys, we have Prospecting 2020 happening in the month of February. We are going to be doing it in Singapore, Malaysia, Manila, and in India, we'll be doing it in Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Indore. I do look forward to seeing you. Do leave me your comments. Do leave me your questions. I will definitely add them into my session with you guys. Come prepared for the session. This is your opportunity to ask me any question. 4 hours we will be together talking about what I do from a prospecting strategy perspective. What are the pros and cons of each strategy that I use? What are the pros and cons of other people's strategy that I have seen? So I look forward to seeing you at Prospecting 2020. If you haven't got yourself a ticket, please do so because we are selling out. Do bring your friends along because this is a family event. This is not just an event for me. It's a family event. We all get to meet together. I look forward to seeing you again. God bless and good night.